Maybe it's 5:06 on everybody else's. We went through that before. Any disclosures of direct or indirect pecuniary interest? Seeing none. Any preliminary matters that need to be covered? Acting Secretary, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
No. Okay. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda, please?
So moved.
Seconded.
Member Rose, Member Brown, all in favor?
Yes.
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 Thank you. Okay. So we're into the public session and item 6.1. And I'd like to call on Detachment Commander Randall to speak to this item if we could. This is the funding application for provincial monies. And I understand that Mary Lou was involved in it as well.
That's correct. So just by way of an update, we are going to enter into year 3. So we're just ending year 2 of the grant that was received. And because of the transition between the 2 agencies, there needed to be some amendments to the grant application and to the payout documentation. So with the assistance of Mary Lou, all of the documents have been completed and updated and reviewed by myself, and I understand that you also reviewed them. And so the final analysis for 2020 will be submitted on the 30th of November. And then going forward into 2021, there's just been a slight change in the way the funding works to remove the funding for the Health IM, which is a document that the OPP doesn't use, and return those funds to have in-service training for the officers, each platoon, in regard to a number of community services that are available. The final result was a variance of a very small amount of money, and we've made arrangements to have that covered by in-kind.
Okay. So we were close.
Very close. Very close.
Very good to hear. Any questions for Detachment Commander Randall on this item?
No.
No.
Okay. I have a motion to receive this item, 6.1.
So moved.
Member Rose. Member
So
Brown.
second. Oops, sorry.
Thank you. All in favor?
Yes.
Yes. So item 6.2, this is a communication call, 911, and there was an issue with an incident at our local Walmart store. And the incident happened, the individual who called had some communication issues with the 911 service, and Detachment Commander Randall was going to speak to this item.
Correct. So I was asked to look into it to try to understand a reported delay in the receiving of the call between the time that the person made the 911 call to the time that they spoke to an officer at the communication center. As I indicated to Chair Taylor, that we like to hear information about delays so that we can look into it and see if there's a fundamental flaw in the system or if it was just a one-time occurrence. In this case, I contacted Inspector Nickel of the Orillia Communication Center. He conducted an investigation into what happened. There was a delay of approximately 3 minutes between the time that the person contacted the dialed 911 and that they actually spoke to an operator in Orillia. The initial delay was 2 minutes from the time that the call was received until it was received at the communication center in Orillia. There was some indication that the call had been dropped for one reason or another in between Northern 911 and being received at the communication center in Orillia. And then further, when the communication center was contacted by Northern 911, the complainant was not on the line. And according to policy, the OPP dispatcher called the complainant back and commenced receiving the call for service. So we cannot find any evidence of a hang-up, and we're not entirely sure what happened between the time that Northern 911 received the call and the time that the OPP received the call and how the call was dropped. So at the end of the day, we're satisfied that there was no intentional delay, and that receiving another delay at the communication center was that during the time of this call, there was a peak the number of calls being received by the communication center. However, all the available operators were working, all available communicators were working, and it wasn't anything to do with not picking up the phone. It was just taking calls in sequence.
Got it. Unfortunate incident, okay?
Yes.
Yes. Any questions, board members?
No.
No? Hearing none? Okay, thank you for that report. Can I have a motion to receive that information?
So move.
Thank you, Ken. And a seconder?
Mary?
Thank you, Mary Rose. All in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, thank you, everyone. So now, this item, item 62B, it is an item that we thought we would come back to as a board prior to the OPP coming in. And as OPS was winding down, the board had gotten together and wrote a letter to Chief Superintendent Peer, and it was requesting that we would have diversity that on our new force, and we just thought it would be appropriate to follow back up now that we're all in our new detachment and working with new folks, and have a conversation about that. Would yourself, Chief Superintendent Peer, or yourself, Detachment Commander Randall, would you like to speak to this item?
I think that the chief has some information to share with you. So, Chief?
Yeah, thanks very much, and thanks to thank you to the Mr. Chairman and the members of the board. Nice to see you again. Hopefully you can hear me okay here. I had a little audio issue. I had to go offline and get back on here, but I think it's working okay now.
We can hear you. Thank you.
It's nice to see all of you again, and I just want to say I got the opportunity to do some foot patrol downtown Orangeville on the weekend. I was down there Saturday, and it was great to have some discussions with people out on the street, and we also enjoyed some nice, although it was a bit cool, it was a beautiful sunny day, so it was great to be in town, and I enjoyed doing that patrol. With respect to the diversity, certainly it's an excellent question, and I certainly applaud the community for taking on a position to encourage and certainly adopt a diversity standpoint within the community. So I certainly expect that the OPP will fall right in line with that through some of the programs we have going. I just want to give some background as far as our uniform recruitment goes. We actually have an 80-member team that looks after uniform recruiting across the province. So it's quite a large endeavor. It's certainly very important to our operations, and we certainly are committed to diversity within our ranks, because it just extends community policing in a more culturally relevant way into the communities that we are servicing. So it just simply, quite frankly, makes a lot of sense as far as police reflecting the communities we're working in. The OPP does a number of things to promote diversity when we are seeking applicants and when we're doing hiring for new candidates. We are currently doing targeted job fairs. We're holding constable information sessions. We have themed symposiums that look at diversity symposiums and women's symposiums as well, that are focused on particular facets of our society. in hopes to encourage them and educate them about policing in general. We also are running a number of social media campaigns on Facebook, Instagram, and we're conducting virtual ride-alongs as well. And we have female community support groups to encourage leadership among females with respect to possible candidates. And I think as far as many of these things go, it really is providing a certain access to the community so that they can appreciate what we do, and it quite frankly becomes a more inviting approach to groups that may not have the same, policing may not have traditionally the appeal with the particular groups. And I think extending that access, showing them what we're about, who we are, offers a little better view of a potential policing career with the OPP that I think helps to improve the diversity of our organization. I can provide you a few numbers. We have improved our diversity in a number of areas, and I cover off persons of diverse backgrounds, Indigenous peoples, and women as well. So we've seen some increases given these practices that we're employing from 2018 to 2019. We've seen an increase recruits with diverse backgrounds, or I should say applicants with diverse backgrounds. We've gone from 258 in 2018 to 720 in 2019. Indigenous persons, we've gone from 49 to 105, and women, we've gone from 158 to 635. So, you know, that's only a couple of years of data, but I think it is indicating that from a recruiting standpoint, we're trying to hit on these particular areas that again demonstrate that policing is a diverse and important function in our society, and that getting that reflecting that diversity is very important to providing the best possible service we can. So hopefully those are a couple of examples. There's a lot going on right now in this area, and we certainly are looking to constantly improve. There's always new programs coming up that are promising, and we continue, I know the recruiting branch continues to examine those promising practices as well.
It's amazing. That's quite the change in dynamics, right? When you're talking about the Indigenous groups and women and whatnot. That's very impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any questions for Chief Superintendent Peer, board members on this item? No? Member McSweeney, are you speaking? Because you sound great, but we can't hear a word you're saying.
Damn it, there I am.
There we are.
Yeah, I had a question. I'm just wondering what sort of statistics the OPP keep with respect to their current workforce on diversity. I mean, and the less visible kinds of diversity, sexual orientation being one of them. But I'm just curious whether there's a focus within the OPP on the diversity makeup of its current group, and with a view to, I think, emphasizing areas where that are particular areas where diversity initiatives may be focused.
I think again it's a great question, and with respect to our sort of internal diversity, there's definitely a commitment from the OPP to be diverse in a number of different ways, and certainly with respect to sexual orientation, the two-spirited LGBTQ plus community. We are represented. We are represented as far as internally having officers and civilian staff, and we certainly we work towards inclusion of all groups. That way, we have various inclusion councils within our regions, which is representative of Field Command. And I think that's another aspect of diversity that we are in touch with, and that whether we have particular statistics, this is something I can certainly ask about. I don't know exactly what form they would be kept in, but there are. I can certainly say we are diverse in that way throughout the organization, and I know that to be the case. So I don't know if that's satisfactory. What I can do is I can ask about the particular statistics. I don't know what type of format they're laid out in, but I can ask specifically for that. I don't have that at hand. I don't know if Inspector Randall has anything more to add in that regard.
I do. So what I can tell you is that I was part of a review for OPP recruiting in 2017, 2016, 2017. And part of that review involved going to different regions and different detachments and identifying from a boots on the ground perspective where we can improve in our recruiting and where we needed to concentrate. And part of that whole process was the realization, or the unveiling, for lack of a better term, in the fact that the OPP is actively trying to recruit members of communities to be more reflective of the communities that we're in. So, for example, in Brampton, we'll recruit in Brampton for the South Asian community. And then, because we know that our detachments in the GTA and in Caledon and ports close around the GTA have a large South Asian population. So, for example, if we wanted to do a recruiting drive here in Orangeville, we would, and it would be based somewhere in Orangeville and actively recruiting for people in Orangeville to be more reflective of Orangeville or of Dufferin County. So there is a push on to be reflective of the communities that we're in. The OPP knows that we're not in some detachments reflective of our communities, and it's just a matter of catching up to that. So there is work in progress, but I don't believe at this point in time that there are statistics kept. There's just the awareness that, for example, a detachment such as Dufferin, the ebb and flow of the number of female members rises and falls over time. And the same as other detachments. We know that Orangeville right now has only 2 female uniform officers and 3 female administrators. So we know that there's room, and I specifically put out to recruiting that I would like to see a couple more females in Orangeville, but it's a matter of the process and going through the process and having the recruits and where the recruits put in for their location of choice as well. Is that helpful?
Yes, very helpful. Thank you.
If I was to be entirely honest with how things are going here, Orangeville is learning. We're on a path to be accepting and hopefully on an evolution to be more diverse as time goes on. And I know council's certainly into progressing that. And I think this board is in the same vein. So we certainly appreciate your answers and appreciate your support on the initiative. And if there's things that we can help enable as a board, we certainly would be willing to do so. Mr. Pierre, if I could ask just one final question before you go. Fascinating, you mentioned about the virtual ride-alongs. How would one, if you're a member of the public, how would one find out about that and potentially participate? I think people find that quite interesting.
What I can say about that is I believe that would be a posting. It's quite likely through Instagram, and it would be through our recruiting, OPP Uniform Recruiting on their Instagram account. So I think people can navigate to it that way. And I would say it's not something that we do all the time, and they would probably announce on the feed that they are going to do one, and then expect, look for followers for that particular community. And I know I've followed them in the past down in Essex County, and they seem to go over quite well. And it's kind of a day or an evening in the life of an officer, and you get some really good insight into what activities they are involved in during a tour of duty.
That'd be great. It's COVID times, as you know, so I'm getting tired of Netflix. Maybe I'll tune in one night and.
Yeah, that's real life television, so to speak, right?
Okay, that's great. Thank you, everyone, for that. Board members, any further questions? Or are we okay?
Todd, I actually have a question.
Oh,
I don't
great.
know if it's applicable. Yeah, sure, no problem. Hi, today the Premier Doug Ford and Solicitor General Jones made an announcement at their daily press briefing to increase funding for mental health services because of COVID-19, more in particular to police officers. So once this funding gets rolled out, how are we as a board in Orangeville able to capitalize on this funding to our officers and the supports that are rolled out as a result of this funding?
Well, Chief Superintendent Pierre, did you want to weigh in on that, or Detachment Commander Randall?
I'm not really in a position to I didn't see today's release today. If there's more money coming for support for the frontline troops during COVID, as far as mental health, is certainly something that would be welcomed by me. I'm not exactly aware of the intent of the funding. What I can say is certainly I do give a real shout out to our members who have been working as they normally would through the pandemic. They're out there on the front line, and they're providing the service as though the pandemic didn't exist. They're doing it with efforts wearing PPE and trying to do the job that they normally would do in these difficult times. So I know it is taxing on our members. They have the same concerns with respect to the spread of the virus as anybody else, but they are committed to doing their duties. And if there's any money to support them in that regard, I certainly would welcome it. But I can't speak exactly to the specifics of the money today.
Chair Taylor?
Yes, Member Brown.
Through you to Mr. Pierre, I'm just reading from the announcement. There's talk about expanding mobile crisis services. So I know that the OPP has mobile crisis teams, and I believe the intent is to add to that. So as part of this.
Very good. Nikki, maybe you want to speak to that?
Yeah, and absolutely. So I know that Dufferin Peel Dufferin Mental Health has been looking for additional funding. We did run out some funding that we had for a pilot program on the 31st of March this year, and that was for a more robust crisis support program. And that I have been working really closely with Joe Brisebois out of Caledon to find out where we can find some more funding. So you can rest assured that I'll be making a phone call tomorrow morning to Alison Yeatman to see how we can take advantage of the funds that are going to be available, if they're going to be available. That is one of our goals at the detachment, to have a mobile crisis response team up here and to, at minimum, increase the rapid crisis response that we have initiated here in Dufferin. We're very fortunate to have some very passionate people in the mental health, Peel Dufferin Canadian Mental Health Association, and I know that they'll probably call me before I call them.
Very good.
So yeah,
Great.
that's very good news.
Mr. Chair, I wonder if I might just record that as a follow-up reporting item for our December meeting.
I think that'd be appropriate. It didn't really fit here, did it? But I'm glad it was brought forward.
I also had just another quick question, which is a little bit off topic, but since Sergeant McLagan is on the line, it reminded me, what presence is the OPP planning in our high schools or our schools with respect to community awareness programs? And I believe Dave was involved in this with the OPS with respect to bullying and other matters. I'm just wondering whether there was a planned presence for the OPP in our high schools. And maybe that's probably a function of how quickly things get back to normal. But I know that kids are in school now and doing the best they can with classes.
If I may.
Yes, please.
So right now we're still under I guess you would call it the pause in service in the schools related to not having extra personnel in the schools to avoid any COVID contamination, but also we're waiting for the results of the Upper Grand District School Board review on police officers in schools. So there's kind of a dual pause on there. It's our hope that once the review is completed, that the Upper Grand District School Board recommends that officers resume their presence in the schools. And then if they do, and when they do, then we'll go forward with the representation in the schools, and we'll build a program and go forward from there. So there is the intention to have officers in the schools and officers to provide an education component as well as a face-to-face and familiarity component, and then to provide support to students as well. And there's Dave piping in.
Oh, you're on. I think you're on mute, Dave.
The mic.
Go ahead, Dave.
Oh,
You're
The
muted.
microphone is on mute, Dave. You're muted. You're not.
no,
No?
no. Now you're muted. Yeah, that's too bad. I'm sure it's super important. You look official in your new outfit, though. It's nice to see you.
Is
You wanna
Dan
hold up cue cards, maybe?
is Dan able to
Yeah,
unmute?
back next meeting.
Okay. Sorry about that. We'll get you next time. Thank you.
So,
Nice to see you.
Nikki, can I add that as a reporting item to bring forward to our December meeting as well? I don't know. Do you know what the timing of the Upper Grand District School Board report is?
No, I don't. I vaguely at the last roundtable session that I was at, I thought that they would wanted to report back early in December for consideration.
Okay. Well, I think I'll add it
As a follow-up for.
as a follow-up. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Very good. So can I have a motion to receive 6.2B?
Sure.
Okay. Member Brown, thank you. A seconder, please.
Mary?
Ken? Oh, Mary?
Ken, okay. All in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you, everyone. So 6.3, this is anti-Semitism correspondence. Basically, it's put forth by the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance. And what they're asking for is that the definition of anti-Semitism be adopted and that it be shared out to other police services boards as a education stream. And they're asking that we support this as a police services board. Board members, would anyone like to comment on this or make a motion? No comments? Okay. Would anyone like to make a motion to receive?
Sure.
Or action?
I would like to. I would like. Sorry, can we frame the motion as a motion to receive and support?
Yes, I think that would be appropriate.
I'll
Member
second
Brown?
that.
Are you okay with that? Okay, perfect. Thank you. All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Who was the second? Sorry, who was the second on that?
You were.
I was?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
As is.
And then we got unanimous there on that.
Got it.
6.3. So this is item 6.4. And for the public that's potentially watching, or if you know someone, we are advertising for a Police Services Board Secretary. It appeared in the local newspapers just recently. It's been on social media feeds, and the job closes November 27th. So if you're looking, fairly flexible hours, really we're looking for someone with strong organizational skills, and please apply through the town that's on the application process. Board members, I don't think there's any comments to have there. We've kind of beat this to death, but anyone want to speak to this item?
No.
No. Motion to receive, please.
So moved.
Seconded. Thank you.
Member Rose, Member Brown, all in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So this is a information update, item 6.5. This is the board has agreed previously to commission a local artist to produce a print, and that print and painting will be given to OPS as a token of our appreciation. And I guess the recommendation was to commission Mr. Alex Lennox. So I guess it's just a motion to receive. We've been through this. It's more about an inform about who's doing the painting. Any comments from the board on this?
Quick question. What is the theme of the painting? What is it going to be?
So it was described as we had done as a board, as in we wanted a historic element of OPS was something that brought the future with it as well. And the artist was given, I guess, artistic license as long as they were providing that.
Okay.
So we shall find out.
And how long will this painting take? Did they give a time frame?
I was told it would be fairly quickly, but I don't have a time date.
Okay.
It would be great to close the loop, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Motion to receive.
So moved.
Member Rose.
So second, Ken.
Ken. All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you, everyone. So item 6.6, incredibly odd to me. These things came to me via town staff. These are invoices for OPS. And why they came to me, two reasons. One is the chair of the board. Two is there's no one at OPS anymore. And where else would you approve invoices? So the invoices that are here are Waste Management, Bell Canada, and Legal. So three of these items I wouldn't be familiar with. I have asked for clarification on item 662, which is the Bell Canada invoice that is for $3,300. As of this meeting, I have not received information on that with clarification. Our treasurer was looking into it for me. I don't know. It was called out when I was debriefing with the vice chair. Member McSweeney thought that was a lot of money, and I do as well. And ladies and gentlemen, I can't answer any question about the invoices. These are operational invoices that went to OPS. So if maybe I'll throw it out for general comment from the board. But I guess my feeling is, unless something is uncovered that we think is strange, which I'd be surprised if we did, I guess my hope would be is we put a general motion forward that allows myself to sign off on these things if they are deemed to be appropriate in good order. And we'll do our due diligence over the next month and sign off on them. Board members, did you want to comment on?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, very
Second.
good. Member Brown, Member Rose, all in favor?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Seemed odd to me to just sign off on things as the chair without inclusion, so thanks for indulging me. And then item 6.7, this is the item that just won't quite go away. So the what has happened is that the town has asked for one tiny change, and that is they were uncomfortable with the date of this item. They requested that the date be revised to when it was passed by this board. We've gone back and made that change. I've signed it and sent it back to the town, you know, with the provision that it's one last time approved here tonight. And why it's important is the town is wanting to put it on the agenda for council approval at the next meeting, which would be this coming Monday night. So I guess I'm just looking for a motion to receive the document and
So moved.
Okay. Member Rose, have a seconder to that, please. Member Brown, all in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Hopefully we have seen the last of that item. So number 7 is pass any motions developed in closed session. I don't believe we have anything to share from closed session at this point. This board did meet from 4 to 5, but nothing to share in public session. So moving on to item 8, and this is all of the meeting minutes. And board members, the importance of this is that for a variety of reasons, of which we all understand why, we are slightly behind on these meeting minutes. Ideally, we get these things approved in this meeting and let the town know tonight that we've got these things done, and they can go to council as well for the next meeting, which again is Monday. So any comments or questions on these meeting minutes? And if not, could I have a motion to receive?
I'm just looking at 8.4 about October the 20th.
That's, yes, Member Rose, that, I think this motion will be with respect to the minutes that are up for approval today. And then there will be a second motion dealing with that deferment.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So, Mr. Chair, I think the motion is to approve the minutes under 8.1, 8.2, 8.3, and under 8.1, you'll notice that there are a number of minutes that are under that category. This is really a catch-up. We are fully up to date now, but for October 20th, I'm happy to say, was painful. But yeah, I think we're good to go.
That's great. Well, they're so important, right? It's the history of what's been done. So, okay. So, could I have a motion to receive and pass 8.1, 8.2, and 8.3?
So moved.
Second.
Member Rose, Member Brown, all in favor?
Yes.
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 I agree. I just can't approve 8.3 because I wasn't present on the 18th of August. So
Okay.
I have to say no to that.
Okay. Thank you, Ken.
Yep.
And so 8.4, are we going to handle this on its own then, Member McSweeney? And that is that we are going to push this to the December meeting?
Yes, so you recall from our closed session, there's an October 20th. October 20th was a regular meeting, so we had an in-camera session as well as a public session. So this deferral motion is the public session portion.
Okay. So can I have a motion to defer that to the December meeting?
So moved.
Member
So
Rose?
second.
And thank you. All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so that's 8.4. Item 9 is the claims for special remuneration. Those claim forms are attached. Is there any questions regarding item 9? No, seeing none. Could I have a motion to receive these, receive and approve?
So moved.
Member Rose.
Second that.
Ron, second. All in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. Question period. Mona, is there any questions from the public at this time?
Not at this time, Todd.
Okay. Just as a point of order, Dan, am I supposed to wait, or Mona, are we supposed to wait on that till 6 p.m.? Should I come back to that, or are we okay?
Through the chair, I think you're okay.
Okay, very good. Thank you. So no questions. Item 11, there is no presentations in this meeting. We don't have any delegations. There is no correspondence to my knowledge. And item 14, no reports. So we're on to item 15, which is new business. Detachment Commander Randall, did you want to speak?
I did.
Sorry if I skipped over something there.
Yeah, so I had asked a couple of weeks back for a few minutes for the chief to make a presentation at this meeting, but I didn't see him on the agenda, and I had just sent an email to Mr. McSweeney in regard to the same. So the chief has requested a few minutes to speak in regard to the detachment and some items from Centre Region. Is that okay?
Yeah, it's perfect. We're at new business, so worked out well. Thank you.
Okay.
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity to address you. And I wanted to check in on a couple of items. We are moving ahead with the detachment commander competition. I think I spoke about that at an earlier meeting, and we committed to doing that. So that competition is starting up. We will be in touch on that, and certainly the board will have representation on the selection of the member when the time comes. So my superintendent, Jim Smith, is going to be chairing that panel, and he will be reaching out over the next week or so just to touch base. And I just wanted to take, I think I've seen everybody here, but I am going out across the Central Region, just introducing myself to the police service boards throughout the region. We have quite a number of them. So I have the pleasure of having met with you before. I just wanted to say that I will be asking for some time on a future agenda through Nikki, or certainly through the chair. We are putting together a presentation that really articulates different aspects of the OPP, and it may be helpful to present that to you as a group, and it may afford some other avenues of discussion with respect to the services provided by the OPP. We're in the process of completing the production of that, and I'm looking forward to the completion. I had the opportunity to lead that project, and we're just putting the final bit of filming together. There's some editing to be done, so I'll keep you apprised. I'm happy to let you know how we're making out on that, and I look forward to just getting on your agenda in the future, and perhaps having an opportunity to provide that presentation to you. So I'll just close with saying that I was very pleased to participate in the graduation ceremony of the OPS officers as they transition to the OPP. Again, a little bit of a different ceremony than it might have been outside of COVID. I was happy the mayor was able to join us, and it was, I think, a very good day. Great, again, to speak with the members. They seem very excited, and it's so good to see them on the ground providing service back in the community now. So in any event, I don't want to interrupt deliberations, but I just wanted to sort of flag that presentation for the possibility of presenting in the future. And again, I'm just very pleased to be able to meet with you. And if there's any further questions for me, then I'm happy to answer those.
That's great. Board members, any questions for?
That would be very
Chief, I I had a question. Just wondering, of the graduating class, how many are coming back to the Orangeville or have come back to the Orangeville area? So come back. How many have come back home?
Well, and Nikki can help me out with this, but I believe they're all back home.
27.
27 of 28. And we have the Deputy Chief Leah Guilfoy came on to the OPP as an inspector, and she's been assigned to Central Region headquarters.
Great, thank you.
Very good. I had a question. So the interview process, this will be new for a lot of us. Is it a board led thing, or is this would we choose a couple of members to represent us throughout the interviews, or how would that progress? What's historically done?
Historically, we would generally include the chair of the board. In this case, we have the Mono and Grand Valley as well that would be included in the Dufferin milieu. So we would expect some representation there as well. And generally, it would be for a detachment commander, a chief and a superintendent participating from our end.
Got it. Okay, good. Any other questions, board members? Good. I just had one comment for yourself, Dwight, and Nikki, and that is a congratulations and a thanks on behalf of our community for an arrest in the the issues with our Orangeville businesses. It was quite unsettling for those businesses, and I know we certainly innocent until proven guilty and all of that for certain, but nonetheless to have a suspect arrested, it certainly offers a calm to our community, and I wanted to thank you both for that. I really appreciate it. Very good. And then I guess my last one would be under new business, and that is thank you to you, Vice Chair McSweeney, for kind of doing double duty for us as we work through this little bit of a trying time for the board as you're wearing double hats, and we appreciate that. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Pleasure.
Anything else, board members? Are we set? Okay. So that would bring us to the end of our program. If I could ask for someone to make a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Very good. Thank you, Member Rose. Thank you, Member Brown. All in favor?
Yes.
Thank you.
Aye.
Thank you.
Nice to see everyone. Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Nice.
Night.